Welcome, if this is your first time watching Who Remembers, the series where we discuss and break down my thoughts on games that are at least 10 years old or older. Some we are revisiting, and some we are playing for the first time. I'll try to keep it mostly spoiler-free by avoiding any major plot points. So let's get started. It never fails to amaze me when I jump into a new Mafia game. The unique characters, the rich storylines, and innovative gameplay have always been noteworthy. Now that being said, I haven't played Mafia III yet, but the first two titles in the series have been incredible. I think the original Mafia still remains my favorite, but damn, Mafia II really impressed me, and it's not that far off. Developed by 2K, scriptwriting for Mafia II began in 2003, as well as pre-production in 2004. Originally intended to release in 2005 for PlayStation 2 and Xbox, but unfortunately the developer of the game engine went out of business. This basically forced 2K into building their own game engine, further pushing the game's development to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Mafia II officially released on August 24, 2010 in North America and August 27, 2010 in Europe for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. Here's a little fun fact. Did you know that Mafia 2 actually holds the world record for dropping the most F-bombs in a video game with 200?
People occasionally get dirty, you know. Besides, I just wiped them off.
With what? The same fucking rag you used to clean the toilet, you filthy fuck?
Put a lid on them. What are you, from the health department, or you want to do some business?
Also, this would have been my favorite game as a kid if I knew they actually used real Playboy models in the game. Anyways, let's cover a quick synopsis of the story without trying to spoil anything. Mafia II covers the rise of Vito Scorletta, son of Sicilian immigrants and World War II veteran. Vito decided to join the US Army basically to avoid jail time for a botched robbery. After the opening chapter, Vito returns home from the war during Christmas time and reunites with old friend Joe Barbarina to embark on a life of crime.
So how'd it go at home?
Good. Mama wasn't thrilled when I mentioned your name, though. You know how she is. She wants me to get a straight job.
You gonna look for one?
I don't know, but I sure as hell ain't gonna make the same mistake my old man did. I gotta pay off his debts, then get back on my feet and get my own place. I need to make some real money, and punching the clock ain't gonna cut it.
The two quickly get caught up in a mob war, working between the three major crime families, the Falcones, the Vicente, and Clemente. Before we dive into the different characters that make the story great, I wanted to talk about some of the biggest changes I like from Mafia I to Mafia II. The first one being a true open world with more things for Vito to interact with. You can go to different places around town, plus there's gas stations and even a new suit and tie at the local tailor if you want to go that route. The world of Empire Bay seems more alive than ever, with strip clubs to blow off some steam, or diners and bars to grab your favorite sandwich. The customization of vehicles was also introduced, allowing you to change the wheels, paint, repair, and even stop by the body shop. These were all welcome additions to a somewhat hollow world of Mafia I. Driving the cars themselves, they handle much better with improved response and overall feel. It's interesting how you have to drive/brake differently depending on the weather. Snowy, icy, or wet roads force the player to drive more cautiously. The original formula with the police has returned as well. This time though, not only will the cops bust you for speeding, but if you steal a car, the police will recognize your plates and chase after you. Plus, if you commit a crime, the cops will notice your clothes if you didn't change. The gunplay also feels more precise and a little more forgiving than the original Mafia. Nothing was too challenging or frustrated me to the point of no return. I didn't notice really any new weapons, but the weapons that are available feel great, and each one has their own use. So almost everything is better in Mafia II than Mafia I, but the story in my opinion. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I just like the characters a little more in the first game. Mafia II though does have some great characters. Here, let me introduce you to them. Empire Bay is home to three major crime families, so let's get familiar with them because you're going to be interacting with all three. Let's start with Alberto Clemente. He's the first you'll meet, and he's also the founder and don of the Clemente crime family. Alberto is based off a famous mobster who was killed in a hotel while getting his hair cut in the 1950s. This man's name is Albert Anastasia. Next we have Frank Vinci, don of the Vinci crime family. He's a close friend of Don Salieri from Mafia I. Frank was also influenced by none other than Don Vito Corleone from The Godfather. And finally we have Carlo Falcone, Don of the Falcone crime family. Carlo and Eddie Scarpa are two of the most dangerous men in Empire Bay. Carlos's appearance is based off the notorious mob boss Frank Costello. Now that we have our Dons out of the way, let's talk about the character we're playing, Vito Scarletta. Protagonist of Mafia II and minor character in Mafia I. Minor spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. Vito and Joe are sent to kill Tommy Angelo from Mafia I in the Stairway to Heaven mission. This kind of blew my mind because I didn't realize it until after the fact while researching for this video.
Mr. Angelo,
Yes?
Mr. Salieri sends his regards.
Vito is an up-and-coming gangster in the Empire Bay who becomes a made member of the Falcone crime family. Vito's best friend and partner in crime is Joe Barbarino. While Vito was at war, Joe began working for the Clemente crime family. He's kind of a wise guy, basically the comic relief for the most part. Joe seems to be influenced by Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas. I also mentioned Eddie Scarpa earlier when I was talking about Carlos Falcone. Eddie is a sociopath, one of the most dangerous men in Empire Bay. He's also responsible for assigning most of the jobs out of the Falcone restaurant. Eddie was once a lightweight boxer. Henry works as a soldato in the Clemente and then later Falcone crime families. Henry is one of the wise guys Vito and Joe idolized growing up. Leo is the concierge of the Vince crime family. He loves sports like boxing and horse racing. Vito and Leo meet in prison. And then lastly we have Mike. He is a mechanic and career criminal. He also gives Vito one of his first jobs. Now that we're familiar with a few favorite characters, let's talk about what makes this game great. The experiences you have with these characters is what Mafia is all about. Another minor spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. One of my favorite moments from Mafia 2 is when Vito gets out of prison. Chapter 7. Joe introduces Vito to Eddie, and they want to celebrate Vito's return by taking him to the cat house. The fellas are having a great time, but Joe and Eddie have had a little too much to drink. We've all been there. So now, it's Vito's time to get these boys home.
Hey, I'm going home.
Good night, you whores.
But in true Mafia fashion, as they stumble their way to the car, Eddie failed to mention that he forgot to dump a body he left in the trunk.
What the hell's that stink? Eddie, you puke?
What? I wouldn't puke in my own car.
What the hell is that smell then?
Oh, yeah, I'm smelling it too.
Must be Frankie Potts.
What? That asshole puked in your car?
Nah, he's in a trunk.
What?
What?
Despite the smell, it's now Vito's job to drive out to the middle of nowhere and take care of this little problem on their hands. This mission is the soul of a Mafia game. Even the drunken banter on the car ride home is priceless. It sucks you in and gets you invested in the story of these characters. Mafia II was a fantastic game from start to finish. The Christmas setting at the beginning is perfect and creates a charming, welcoming environment with the snow and music playing. It's a rich story and a real high point for the series. I've heard all the opinions about Mafia 3, but I still look forward to playing it at some point. I'm in no rush though, and still enjoying my experience with Mafia 2. I played the original version and I recommend doing the same for either Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. Stay away from the remake definitive edition. Trust me. This original version still holds up and it's a great follow-up from the first game. If you enjoy games like Grand Theft Auto or LA Noire, Mafia 2 is the game for you. Doesn't do anything fancy or groundbreaking, but it's really good at doing the things it does extremely well. The story will keep you invested until the end, and it's good, and it'll leave you with a lasting impression. Thanks for driving down memory lane with me once again with the classic Mafia II. I hope you give it a shot if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Until next time, make sure to give this video a like and leave a comment down below about Mafia II. Stay blessed, my friends.